This is Dad's infamous Billy Goat Island. I remember as a kid pulling up here because Dad and his mates needed to go for a leak. These cruises on the Tyro were not dry cruises. Anyway, they climbed up here and disappeared off into the scrub up here to relieve themselves, and it wasn't all that much longer that we saw them running back down towards the boat, being chased by a goat. Anyway, they rubbed and rubbed and rubbed and scrubbed, and they could not get the smell of the goat off them. And since then, this place was known as Billy Goat Island, and they never set foot on it again. But the nice thing about it is that it's hardly touched by anyone, as you can see up here. It's really beautiful red gum forest, and if you cross the billabong down here when it's low, like today, yeah, you can get to walk on it and experience it, but when there's water in the river, you can't get on here. So the kangaroos cross there quite regularly, and there's quite a population up here live in the bush. I've been up here looking for turtle nests, but so far I haven't found any. So now the turtle nest hunt is turning into a bit of a nature walk on Billy Goat Island to see what I missed all those years ago. This is the entrance to the island, well, to the billabong, which goes around Billy Goat Island. When I was little, we could actually sail in here on Tyro, and we actually moored it in here for a while. I found the boat. Since then, it's been gradually silting up. You can see the land sloping away from the right here. So as the floods would come through, they would spill over the lip just here, and as they would travel down the bank, they would have less and less sediment, so the bits of land nearest to the banks were highest. And you can actually, if you look towards the other side, you can actually see where the land goes up again. So that's water spilling through from that side during flood, raising those banks, leaving the areas in the middle, which I'm walking towards now, lower than the rest. There are some signs of logging, as you can see from this sawn stump here, and also this large tree tells us of the size that trees used to be here, at least some of them. But in recent years, this has been relatively undisturbed. You can see the fallen timber. A lot of the timber that has fallen looks like young gums that have been outcompeted by stronger ones or branches. So you can see there's actually quite a high timber load on the ground. People have not been coming in here and collecting firewood. So this is pockets of land, like within recently abandoned oxbows, actually represent probably as close to reference condition in terms of timber loads on the ground and tree density that we're going to get, at least since logging halted. A few more signs of logging here. But going off the size of the larger trees here, not much logging has happened in, say, the last 60 to 80 years. And that means this This bit of land here is a rare gem. This low bit of land without any vegetation is would be acting as a flood channel when the river's in flood, and probably represents a segment of abandoned channel older than the oxbow itself. So areas of river which have been abandoned like that take centuries, if not thousands of years, to fill in. Background over there, a group of maybe 15 kangaroos hopping off down the bank. I don't know if they've seen me or they're just going down for a drink. Oh yeah, they're continuing along the edge. So they're probably avoiding me. Just a little bit earlier I saw a swamp wallaby hightailing it as well. From civilization. You can just see that wedge-tailed eagle gliding through the trees in the background if you're lucky. This lawn patch, a bit scratched up underneath the base of a tree, is a sign of a resting place. Going off the drop-in size, I'd say grey kangaroo. There's also some smaller ones, so it's not the only one. There's another resting place, and over here another resting place. So these trees and all the fallen timber provide habitat and sense of safety for all sorts of creatures. If I was looking for small marsupials, this place would be a good place to start looking. The fallen branches and fallen trees provide runways from one place to the next without being picked off by birds of prey or foxes and cats, and they themselves provide hollows for the smaller animals to hide in as well. And as they break down, as fungi and bacteria break them down, that fungi and bacteria provide food for insects, which in turn feed the food chain. Very quick swamp wallaby. Be candidate for the swamp wallaby Olympics, I reckon. Speed he was going. One thing you'll notice as you walk through places like this is the difference in number of hollows in trees of different ages. The difference is quite clear here. This old tree in front of me with a diameter of about 1.5 meters, so well over 150 years old, maybe 200. If we look up, I'm not sure I could count all the hollows that are in it, but it'd be somewhere around 20 or 30, certainly 20 of decent size, meaning that a large animal could nest in it. So like a larger parrot or possum or goanna or bats. And these younger trees, though they're really healthy, they're still to form those hollows. So it's very important that we have trees, we allow trees to age and don't feel the need to cut them down once they're dead. These hollows, there's another beautiful old tree just on the riverbank there, so I'm nearing the edge of the billabong. These hollows get occupied multiple times per year, so it is possum might occupy it at one time, and various species of birds at another. When there aren't enough hollows, the species start to fight with one another, and the dominant species wins. So there's a loss of biodiversity. I'm really encouraged by the condition of the forests on this Billabong island. Gives me hope. Right, well, I'm almost back where I started, back at the creek crossing where all the kangas cross to. I'm going to walk to my canoe and paddle a bit further along the river.